What if I told you men fall in love with you the most when you are unbothered? What if I also told you you can't actually be unbothered if you don't have the right strategy to do so? Which is exactly why on today's show we're going to be discussing how to be so unbothered that the men fall in love with you. That way he can finally be the one going crazy over you instead of the other way around. This will be our first point here. Routines are so important, right? Because on a regular routine, obviously you're gonna have what we would consider these days, right? The Monday to Friday, which is gonna be your weekday. And on your weekday, you're gonna do very particular things from about, 9 to 5, right? Whatever your job is, whatever your occupation is, even if you work a night shift, right? You're gonna have particular things to do on those days, and they're gonna be filled up for the most part, except for the afternoon, okay? Now, it's very important that you understand when you're trying to actually be unbothered, you have to allocate as much time as you possibly can in your week and in your daily routine so that none of that time is just spent sitting and watching paint dry. This is a really big, important key here because being unbothered is not just about saying, I don't care anymore. I don't like this guy. I don't care about what he's doing. Oh, he's not texting me back. I'm going to be unbothered. Oh, he's not calling me anymore. I'm going to be unbothered. I watched Tomisin's show, so I'm just going to pretend to be unbothered. It's not about that because that won't actually work for you. Because if you're laying in your bed with nothing to do and nowhere to go, trying to be unbothered is only going to make you feel more bothered. And then you're going to start spiraling and everything's going to go out of control. When you get really strategic, if you're really serious about being unbothered, you're not just going to build your weekly routine, you're going to build your daily routine, right? So you have your morning, your afternoon, and your night. You might be thinking, Thompson, what does this have to do with anything? I'll show you why this is so important. So you have your week here, and obviously during the week, you're going to work, you're doing whatever your work weekly schedule is that you use to make money. What's also important is to make sure that you're allocating what you're going to do on this time as well. Because one of the mistakes you can make is not properly allocating your time throughout the week, understanding that throughout the Saturday and throughout the Sunday, you're going to be free. You're going to be able to do whatever you feel like doing, go wherever you feel like going. This is important time that you want to be allocating. So you want to fill this day with things as well in order to properly be unbothered. Now, does that mean that every single, you got to work an extra shift on the Saturday and Sunday to be truly unbothered? No. What that does mean is even when it comes to your fun, the things that you go out with your friends and you do out of your enjoyment just to take a load off and relax, you plan those as well. So if you really want to go to the aquarium with your girls and that's something you've been wanting to do, you plan that out right at the beginning of your week. If you really want to, let's just say, go out to the club because you've been feeling like shaking your ass and twerking up a storm to Sexy Red, then you plan that at the beginning of the week. What I want you to start doing and getting in the habit of doing is being strict on your routine throughout your week and throughout your weekend. Because, and this is how it's all going to kind of tie back here, right? Because you obviously have your wake up, right? Your wake, maybe gym, right? Afternoon, you probably have work. And then the nighttime, you have obviously rest. Maybe you read. But what you want to get in the habit of doing, see, this is why this is so important. Once you start building this routine out and you understand to a T, what am I going to be doing throughout the week, even outside of just work, even for fun? What am I going to be doing on a daily basis? And what is my weekend going to look like? I'm going to plan that from when I wake up to when I go to bed. Even if the entire day is just planning out my itinerary for fun that I'm going to do. I'm going to go for drinks with this friend at this time. And then after that, I'm going to go and do this. Or after that, I'm going to read a book. Or after that, I'm going to watch Netflix for 2 hours. What I want you to get into the habit of doing is being able to have a schedule of what you already plan to do every single day so that you're never having to decide in the moment. And this is where I want to tie everything back to you in the sense of being unbothered. See, the more that you don't have to make decisions about what am I going to do now, I'm really bored, the easier it is to stay on task with whatever you plan to do, but also feel like you have something to do. Having something to do is one of the key elements of actually being unbothered. You can't be unbothered if you feel like that person is your sole source of happiness. If you feel like you've scheduled and planned your entire life around that guy, If he disappoints you, it's gonna bother you. But if you have other things going on throughout your day and throughout your week, if you already have a schedule packed out to a T, even if some of it's just fun and relaxation, you can say to yourself, oh, perfect. Actually, this is great that you disappointed me and you flopped on our date. This is great that I'm no longer going to be dating you and I have some free time. I can take some of that free time back and I can plan something else in this time that I was supposed to go on a date with you, or I was supposed to hang out with you, or you were supposed to call me. And now I get another opportunity to do more things throughout my week. And so it becomes like this really interesting concept where in your mind, instead of you looking at it as, oh, whenever he upsets me or leaves me or doesn't speak to me, it makes me feel sad because I've lost something. You start to feel like, hey, whenever a guy who's not meeting my expectations doesn't speak to me, doesn't talk to me, doesn't text me, it actually doesn't bother me because I'm actually excited. I get more time for myself. And when you get into this habit of building out your schedule, right? This is a whole lot of, even though you might be hanging out with other people and spending time with other people, you're like scheduling your you time. So you get into the habit of building your you time, loving your you time, and loving being able to accomplish all of those things that you have throughout the week. So when you have 10 things on your schedule that you got to do throughout this entire week, you start to feel a little bit stressed, right? Even though some of it's fun, but it's a good kind of stress where it's like, okay, I have things to do. So when one small guy disappoints you on a Thursday afternoon where you were supposed to go out on a date and you're like, damn, I was supposed to go out on this date with him on Thursday afternoon, but instead we're not going out on Thursday afternoon anymore. You're also saying, well, I have a lot of stuff to do on Friday. In fact, my schedule is pretty packed all day. I got a lot of stuff to do on Saturday. And actually, now that I'm not going out with him on Thursday, I probably won't be drunk, so I won't be hungover. I could probably get some really good rest. Or on this Thursday night, I can maybe take a little bubble bath and relax because I know I have a stressful morning on the Friday. And you see, it starts to become something where instead of you feeling like, oh, I was counting on you to bring me happiness. I was relying on you to bring the sunshine into my life. My life was so dull and boring and uninteresting. Why would you do this to me? I needed this piece of happiness. I just wanted to go out once and feel good about. No. Now, you might be thinking, well, Tomisin, why would I want to be not disappointed when a guy disappoints me? I should be disappointed and I should be able to feel those emotions. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel those emotions, but what I want for you is to understand that if a guy chooses to disappoint you, not call you, not text him, you have to be okay with the choice. What I'm trying to help you do in today's show and a lot throughout the Players Club is prevent you from crashing out. I don't want you to crash out. Very bad when you crash out. Only bad things happen when you crash out and you go crazy on men and you over-explain and you try to get them to see this and understand this and they treated you like it doesn't work, okay? I want you to get into the habit of being of yourself, caring about you, and allowing the men who are going to be on this train with you to wherever you're going to get there and be on there with you. And if they're choosing not to and they're choosing not to show up for you, it doesn't bother you. Your train still moves. Number 2, you are going to get yourself a yap friend. This might sound weird to some of you who are a little bit on the older side. When I say yap friend, I just mean a friend you can yap with, meaning a friend you can talk to and dump on, okay? Let's give you a little bit of a visual because I want you to kind of imagine this so you can understand why this is so important and why this will help you get to where you want to go, okay? So let's imagine you have here a trash can. And a typical trash can works in a way that makes sense to all of us, right? You fill it up with trash, so you got trash here, you got different things here, right? A whole bunch of trash here, trash. And you fill up your trash can throughout the week, and at the end of the week, or maybe it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday for you, the trash man comes and he takes your trash from you, and you replace the trash bag with the new trash bin, and then there's no more trash anymore and it's empty, and then you fill it back up later again, right? Because your trash bin is empty. Here's the problem. Let's say, for the sake of argument, 1 week, you decide not to take out your trash bin. You just get lazy with it. And so your trash bin fills up and it's here, right? And it's like, like halfway or something like that. But you don't empty it out this week. And so you start off with a half-filled trash bin. And so now you're filling it up and filling it up and filling it up and filling it up. And now all of a sudden your trash bin is full. And let's say for the 3rd week in a row, you still don't fill up that trash bin. And now you got trash overflowing. It's falling out of the trash bin. Okay, it's on the floors now. And it's also starting to create this really nasty stench. Okay, everything's starting to smell here. Okay, growing mold and things like that. Very, 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 very nasty, your trash bin. Now, what I want to kind of connect to you in this analogy is your feelings are just like this. Okay, because your trash bin is like your ability to feel resolved, like you got the emotions or the thoughts that were in your mind and on your heart out of your body and, just into the universe somewhere. You have to feel cleansed. You have to feel clear. If you don't get an opportunity to do that at no point in your life, you'll start to feel congested. Okay, like a filled up trash bin, when you have to kind of like press it down and kind of stuff it so you can fit more stuff in it. But what's going to happen after a while is if you never take that trash out, it will start growing mold. Things will start to smell, right? Things that you were able to keep for like a week or so. Now that you're keeping it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's going to start creating problems. And see, a trash can is useful when you want to dump things in and you want to throw it away after a week, like give it to the garbage man after a week. But if you don't clear it out, that small little trash can that was useful to you before can actually make your entire house unlivable. Because it can attract rats, it can attract rodents, insects, roaches, all that other stuff. And you might have a smelly, nasty house that you can't even step foot inside because of the same trash can that you were utilizing and was good to you before. So it's the same thing with your emotions. You have to understand you need a friend to yap with, to get all of these emotions and feelings out. If you want to cry, you need that friend. If you want to just talk about your feelings and emotions, you need that friend. If you want to just tell them exactly how you feel about everything and even just say things that make absolutely no sense and contradict yourself, you need that friend. Okay, I even see some people say, what about a diary? No, I want this to be another human because I want you to experience what you are. Here's the thing. When you're in a state where a guy makes you angry, and this is where I want you to actually be paying attention and understand this. When you're in a state where a guy makes you angry, he disappoints you, he disrespects you, he doesn't show up for you in the way that you want him to show up. Your emotions want to express, you did this wrong. How could you do this to me? How could you not call me when you said you were going to call me? How could you not show up when you said you were going to show up? How could you disappoint me? And all that other stuff, right? You're a human being. Nothing wrong with that. And you want to tell the person that hurt you all the ways they hurt you. But remember, I tell you to avoid doing that. I tell you not to crash out. I tell you not to waste your energy over explaining to men, because they're never going to see your point and they're never going to try to make a change anyways. The reason I want you to have a yap friend is because I want you to experience what your soul is desiring, which is to get those feelings off your chest and to just say it how you really feel it and how you really mean it. And I want you to be able to experience that in a way that doesn't affect the relationship that you're having with that guy, okay? And doesn't affect your ability to stay sane and be in the position of power that I want you in your dating stages. Are you following what I'm talking about, right? So I want this yacht friend to be the person that you can go to and dump on without having to worry about consequences for the dumping. Because theoretically, you could dump all of those emotions when a man disappoints you on that man. But crashing out, as we've already stated, doesn't actually benefit you. In fact, it will make a lot of things worse. This yacht friend, it should not be a guy. No straight men who can possibly be attracted to you. Anything outside of that where it's a platonic relationship or for whatever reason they're not attracted to you because they just don't swing that way, that's fine. That's what I consider a platonic friend. Number 3, and let's just say this is an arm right here, right? And let's say for the sake of example, your arm has this really, really, really big gash on it, right? You got this weird gash that you scraped your arm because you fell the other day on your arm. And because of this big gash, whenever you hug someone or someone like touches that part of your arm, or even when you're sleeping in your bed, you can feel it and it stings. And anytime anyone hits it, you're like, ah, my arm, it hurts so bad. Ah, please don't touch it, right? And when you understand that anytime someone hits this gash on your arm, that you're in a lot of pain, what are you most likely to do? You're most likely to say, okay, I'm gonna bandage it up. And when I go to hug people, I'm gonna hug them with this side of my body, right? I'm gonna avoid touching people with this side of my arm. I'm gonna avoid sleeping on this side of my arm, right? I'm gonna sleep on my other shoulder or sleep on my back. I'm gonna tell people, hey, don't, hit me on this side of my arm. I've got a gash here. Please make sure not to bump me, or please make sure not to hug me on this side. I've got a really big bruise here, a really big gash here, and it hurts really bad if anyone touches it. So the reason I give you guys this visual and analogy is because I want you to go about your triggers the exact same way. Meaning, when you get self-aware about the things that are your biggest insecurities, right? Meaning the things that someone can say that will really hit you in the chest. You know the things that if someone makes fun of you for those things, you'll actually feel bad. Like you'll feel it, okay? Because it's something you're either insecure about, that you want to change about yourself, you want to adjust, that just, it's close to home for whatever reason for you. Being self-aware is understanding those things hit close to home. Those are the most likely things you can say that will make me insecure. Or if it's a trauma that you suffered via family, via friends, via past relationships, right? You understand, okay, because of this trauma or experience I've had, if someone does this to me, it's really gonna trigger me. If someone says this to me, it's really gonna trigger me. So what I want you to get good at is understanding those things about yourself, right? Understanding what your wounds are. That's quite a literal analogy. I'm pretty good. What your wounds are, what your gashes are, that you can now become aware and say, okay, when I hug people, when I interact people, I'm going to avoid allowing them to hit this gash here or this wound, because that's going to put me in pain. So it's the same thing kind of with your emotions. You want to understand what triggers you so that you are very aware. Oh, he hit me there. I already know this is something that will make me crash out. I need to take several steps back, because I know if I start trying to fight this battle, or I start trying to go back and forth on this topic, or in a situation like this, when he did this to me, I'm gonna crash out, I'm gonna lose my mind, and I'm never gonna be able to recover from this, okay? So let's just say, for the sake of example, you're talking to a guy and you realize that this guy is messaging a girl on his phone, and you see a name pop up on his phone. And you have a lot of trust issues because your last ex cheated on you, and he cheated on you 85 times. So you got a whole bunch of trauma from that, right? And you see a message on his phone. Before you go to the crash out, I want you to, oh, okay. Before I even speak here, before I even say a word, I need to take a step away. In fact, you know what? We're hanging out now. I need to just go for a walk. Even if you need to end the hangout, I need to go and end the hangout, or I need to go to the bathroom, or I need to just take a second. Give me a second away from you. I need to breathe. I need to feel my emotions, because I know this is a prime situation for me to crash out in, okay? Being self-aware is good, because before the crash out even happens, you can be aware, this is a situation that will cause me to crash out. I will go crazy about this. Based on my experience, I know me. So before I even go crazy, I need to take a step back. I need to take a walk around the block. I need to just breathe. I need to drink water. I need to go to the gym. I need to focus on something else just for a second, so that I can breathe and come back and have this conversation with you from a sane, logical place. Nothing wrong with having emotions. I will never tell you to not have emotions, but you do not allow your emotions to control you. You are in control of your emotions, and as you feel them, you work alongside them to get to your destination or to get to your goal. And it's the same thing in your relationships. You do not allow your triggers to allow you to crash out or go crazy on guys, where then you're trying to backtrack and recover from that after going crazy, or after saying a whole bunch of stuff that kind of sets you up in a bad place or causes you to lose a lot of your power. Because crashing out can make you feel like you're gaining a lot of power by telling him off and telling him this and telling him that, but you actually just show him how much power he has over you and over your emotions by doing all that crashing out. Let's hop into our fourth point. So we have here what we would describe as snail mail. I want us to kind of talk about the way that we go about relationships now, all right? Not how we used to go about them when we were riding on horses and delivering message via horse, okay? So let's kind of understand in a little bit of a visual what snail mail really means. When you're going about texting or responding to situations that upset you or bother you deeply, what I want for you to get into the habit of is not making the mistake of reacting as soon as the thing that upsets you. So let's kind of put together two scenarios here. So I have on the top here, let's imagine that you receive a text from a guy that you're dating that he is flopping on this date. He promised you that you guys were going to go out on Tuesday night, and now you guys aren't going to go out on Tuesday night, and he gives you a really lame excuse. So you are really upset about that excuse. You feel like it's unwarranted. You feel like he's kind of lying to you. You feel like maybe he's doing something sneaky behind your back. So you only take 1 minute to respond and tell him exactly how you feel. You want to know what happens when you respond in that 1 minute? You end up delivering to him not just a regular text message about how you feel or you being disappointed. You crash out, right? You call him out. We can also say here, right? You call him out, make assumptions. This is not good, okay? Because you're adding so much extra emotion to the text message that you don't want to be in there, because if a guy is choosing not to go out on a date with you, no amount of this is going to make him want to go out on the date with you. I know this sounds very weird and very strange, because you might be thinking, well, are you encouraging me to not have an emotion here? No. What I want you to understand is, what is the emotion actually getting you? Because in this scenario where you take 1 minute to crash out on him and tell him off and accuse him of this and tell him, oh, I feel like you're lying about going on this date with me. I feel like you just got bored of me or you got uninterested in me. Okay, if you feel that emotion, fair. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But let's analyze, where does that actually put you? What do you actually get out of any of this? Tell me, do you honestly think he's gonna say, you know what, you're completely right. I agree. I shouldn't flop on you on this date. And you're so right. I'm not showing a lot of interest. I should reverse what I said about not going on this date, and we should go out on this date. And no, that's never going to happen. Okay? So what I want you to understand is, feeling your emotions, yes, is necessary, but let's also figure out how to channel the emotions in a way where you don't crash out, you don't go crazy, and the energy you use on your emotions is used in a way that actually benefits you, instead of being used in a way that frustrates you more and then causes you to go crazier, okay? So instead, let's say, for the sake of example, this text of him flopping on you really disappoints you. Instead of taking 1 minute to respond, how about we take 1 whole day? And you want to know what will happen in that time span when you take 1 day, right? You will analyze. You'll not only know the why you feel this way, but you'll also better understand the how. You'll have time to settle, right? Settle down in the sense that you'll have time for your emotion to not be so raw and unfiltered. And this is the most important part. The reason I say think of delivery is because you have to understand, when you have an emotion, a thought, or a feeling, and you want to convey to someone else that is not you, not in your head, doesn't have your experience, you want to help them understand exactly how you feel. It's so important that you take some time to think about, how can I deliver this message to that person in a way that they can absorb it, receive it, decode it, understand it, and then actually act on it. The problem is, if you're responding to things in a minute, you're never going to be able to do all of this analyzing and thinking about how you're going to properly respond to this. And then by the time you do respond this way, without actually thinking about the process, you're going to be in a position where 1 week or a couple of days down the line, you'll be thinking back and you'll be saying, damn, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have said that, or I wish I would have done this. That would have been way better, a way better thing to do, right? But we don't want that. That's the problem with emotions sometimes. When they control you into taking an action that you wouldn't have regularly took if you actually had time to sit down and think, it actually ends up not benefiting you, right? The emotion, in the sense. Because when you actually have time to feel the emotion, analyze, allow yourself to just gather your thoughts, then by the time you do respond, it's so much more beneficial for you, what you want and what you're trying to get done here. Also, you allow yourself to communicate your feelings and express them in a way that is more absorbable and receivable for the man, that he can then hopefully take action on it in a way that actually benefits the both of you. Because remember, you're not crashing out and yelling just to crash out and yell. You're crashing out and yelling just to hopefully get a change out of him, all right? Even if you don't scream, you don't yell, you don't curse, you get my gist, right? You're not going crazy just for the sake of doing that. You want him to change, or at least you want him to want to change. But the only way he's gonna actually change is if the way that you communicate your feelings and emotions or what's bothering you to him is in a way that he can actually receive it. And I told you guys before, men don't receive crashing out as I need to make a change. They don't. Let's go into number 5. I can't draw, it's okay. I know, please don't make fun of me. Being unbothered. Yes, of course, we would love to all be so unbothered that nothing bothers us. The reality of it is things will bother you, especially the things that really trigger you. Okay, that's not a crime here. What we don't want to happen is you making the mistake of allowing the fact that something did actually bother you, adding these elements that will make things worse exponentially, and then put you in a position where now that you're trying to recover, you're doing more things, trying to recover from the mistake that you made, the first time by adding all this fuel to the fire, that now you're kind of in a death spiral, as we would describe it as. So the reason I say power down, all of these things are like gasoline. And if you allow these things here to be external factors, they will pour themselves onto your emotions and make the fire of your emotions so much worse. So what I'm actually telling you to power down is I'm telling you to power down the phone, power down the technology, step away from the technology, okay? Especially if you're in a place where you feel like you wanna crash out. Stepping away from the technology will always be your best bet, because that's the easiest, most comfortable place for you to go crazy. You send a bunch of angry texts, post some angry stories, post some quotes, some subliminal quotes, or hear some opinions from people who have absolutely no idea what you're going through, have no context to your situation, and you have no idea what their motive is in even giving you advice on a situation they know nothing about. This is why we want you to have a yap friend. We want you to have, as soon as you feel it bubbling inside you, you're like, oh, I want to crash out. You have hormones, right? So you can feel your body changing if you're having, it's your cycle, or if you're ovulating, you can feel it in you. When you're ovulating and you can feel it just coursing through your veins. It's in your blood. The same way when you can feel the crash out coming. Oh, it's coming. You can feel it in your blood. You immediately say, okay, I need my yap friend. We need to sit down. We need to have a conversation. I need to get it off my chest, okay? And your yap friend should understand that that is their role in your life, that when you say, okay, I need a yap, or I just need to call you, we need a yap, oh, I need to FaceTime you, we need a yap, there it is. And you guys can have this conversation and you can get that crash out energy out of your system, okay? And your yap friend also understands this is getting your crash out energy out, right? And you guys allow each other to do that so that afterwards you can feel, okay, I don't need to send angry texts. I don't need to post quotes. I don't need to do anything outside of my regular everyday character. Yes, he disappointed me. Yes, he didn't show up for me. Yes, he did whatever he did. However, I'm still me. I'm still okay. I still have happiness. I still have lots of love in my life. It's not just his. And I will be perfectly fine whether he chooses to show up for me in my life or not. And I will allow him to choose whichever place in my life he wants to be in, whether it's in my life because he's showing up for me how I expect, or if it's out of my life because he is not prepared to do that.